I put in my day's work, but I know I'm far from where I want to be.
Williams, you want to see if you're the Browns, how he's going to react to not being with the first team.
But hey, this is why we can't fall fake news. Shedeur Sanders has been doing a lot of things when it comes to rookie mini camp, and then of course Browns mini camp and different things of that nature. And he's seemingly developed and grown. And something that's also developed and grown is a changing of narrative around Shedeur Sanders. Well, obviously, when the draft happened, a lot of people were saying he needed to be humbled. He was entitled. He was all these other things. But now it's even like ESPN is having a different tune. Or are they? So today we're going to listen to Stephen A. Smith speak on Shedeur Sanders way back in the draft when everything first went down. And then we're going to come back and listen to them talk about Shedeur just recently. I think this is like a few days ago, or sorry, yesterday. And then after that, of course, we've got actual clips from Shedeur, some that we've gone over. But in all, I'm going to paint to you the picture, right? Show you that all of a sudden, these anonymous rumors, right? Apparently, they've got no legs, and every single person that interacts with them has phenomenal things to say. What about a dude just in the background? How about this? It's hard not to like that guy. Wow. That's just, hey, and apparently y'all didn't know who Shedeur was. So we're going to start with Stephen A. Smith. Is he exposing things? Is he doing things the right way? How did he feel about Deion and Shedeur as the draft happened?
Shedeur Sanders is not blameless here. Primetime Deion Sanders is not blameless here. I'm going to say what I have to say, knowing that both of them have their hands at least a little bit dirty in all of this. But if you're the National Football League, clearly it's not about talent anymore. It's about something else. And I'm going to tell you, I spent a large amount of the last 24 hours thinking about nothing more than I was thinking about collusion. Because how in the hell does 32 teams in the National Football League pass on a quarterback that was universally recognized one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country entering this draft, and 32 teams passed on them? Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 different times they passed on them. How the hell does that happen? 4 rounds. It doesn't happen to a quarterback. We've never seen anything like this before. We've seen guys drop because of injuries. We've seen guys drop because of off-field issues, but we've never seen a quarterback projected to be a top 20 pick, universally recognized one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft, projected to be a first rounder, in all likelihood a safe bet of a late first rounder, and drop literally to the 5th round. We haven't seen anything like that. And when you're talking about the owners, I'm going to keep in mind, and I tweeted about this, seems very Kaepernick-like, as in Colin Kaepernick.
Now, I have to disagree with the Kaepernick comparison. We're not going to get in too deep with that. But again, Shedeur has done nothing except prove people wrong, right? So, you know, while there's some things that I disagree with Stephen A. Smith, and we're going to get into his more recent comments, those comments are very telling when we get here. They're almost, was it prophetic? How do you say it? When we talk about, you know, predictive in a way. You know, the people who be predict oracles and stuff, they be predicting. That's so Raven. That's what it is. So for that type of, you know, when you look at it in hindsight with retrospective, it's like, wow, well, that's what we're seeing. That's what we're constantly seeing. We're seeing people say how much they enjoy being around Shedeur Sanders, how good of a teammate he is. They're talking about all the other things, right? All the other things except for the things that the narratives were painted. And Stephen A. Smith. Too many S's. I gotta chill with these S names, boy. I can't even say sausage right. Anyway, to go in on Shedeur Sanders and speak a way that he's being covered by what's his name? Stephen A. Smith. I have to give Stephen A. Smith some credit because he was there. Even, you know, he was there saying some of the things that we've been saying. So what has it had to be said after minicamp, after all the positive things that not only Shedeur Sanders has done on the field, but also off the field in the media? What do people have to say now? What does ESPN have to say? If it'll play, it won't play. It won't play. So before it plays, what we're going to do, because we're doing this live, son, we're going to let Shedeur Sanders tell you how he feels about playing, and then we're going to go into
as teammate and to be as polished as I can be. So in every aspect, I view things as I got time. I got time to be able to grow mature, you know, and be able to understand the ins and outs of the defenses and be able to get the good insight from the vets in the room. So I look at it as, you know, a plus. Like I got time to actually be able to really have a great understanding. And whenever, you know, it's time for me to play, then it's time for me to play. But I'm not looking too far in the future about all that. I'm looking about every day in practice, because I had some misses out there today that, you know, we got to go in there and correct, about Reeves getting in and out drops a little bit faster from under center. So that's the main thing. I'm focused on the small things, and over time, the big things will happen.
So that's where Shedeur Sanders focusing, and we talked about this in another video. Look, he's not just focused on improving. It's pretty cookie cutter. Hey, everybody's focused on improving. Everybody's focused on getting better. But when you take that next step, what he's really focused on is those small, intricate things, his dropbacks, his reads, those things that make him a pro, those things that his offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees, pointed out that he's excelling at when it comes to his preparation. So let's hear it from ESPN. Are they going to defend? How's it going to look? How we doing?
Crew of backups. While the
How you doing,
other
Neville?
passers, Joe Flacco,
We're not
Kenny
live
Pickett,
often, so
Dylan
appreciate
Gabriel
you hanging
have
out.
received first-team reps. Sanders, though, said he's
He means cap
unbothered
for the
by his
collusion,
practice reps and
not
instead
the
looking
actual
to take
aspect.
advantage
Only
of
requires
every
4 to 6 owners to
opportunity
collude.
he
Okay.
gets. Shedeur?
Mark Smith
It's
is
just a
there.
mindset.
I got to
just
talk
adjustment.
over
You got to go
some of the
and,
music. My fault.
understand the situation that you're in and be able to approach that and get the best out of it. You could view things as you're not getting reps in a negative way, or you could view it as, okay, when it's my time to get out there. So there's no excuses, because when you get out there, nobody cares how many reps you got. Whenever you get in the game, nobody cares if you took a snap before.
What's going on, Gore?
You know,
What's
like,
going on,
they
Mark
care
Smith?
about.
I'm going to get to y'all comments in just a second as well. Oh, they had a...
You got to be able to produce.
They were having
He's so
problems
right.
already.
Nobody does care. He said all the right things. Stephen A., Shedeur taking fewer reps, do you think that's a bad sign?
No, not at all. It's too early for all of that. He just arrived. He's a rookie. And by the way, while you're looking at him, you also want to see what Dylan Gabriel will bring to the table, along with others. Kenny Pickett is on this squad. He's relatively young, even though I don't think that he's the face of the franchise for the future. Okay, of course, Joe Flacco is an experience.
We'll take just a second. We're gonna, this is ESPN, so we got to be careful with it, and we are live. So I got to talk to my guys who are live that are also responding to some of these comments. So the first thing I want to talk about, shout out to my man Gore. The first thing I want to talk about and kind of address is, what Molly said. And I know Molly isn't often used as someone to kind of point at and say that she's making amazing insights, but he's saying all the right things. And that, I don't mean to say that to patronize Shedeur. Again, if you've been watching Shedeur for a while, he's been saying the right things for a long time. He's been doing things the right way for a very long time. It's nothing new. But the fact that that's been pointed out, and the fact that so many people are almost astounded, surprised by that happening, I think that's interesting to point out, interesting to talk about. And then on the backside, what Stephen A. Smith's about to get into, he talks about, hey, you got Kenny Pickett, you got Joe Flacco, January Joe, Massachusetts, is that where you went to? Legend, right? Like why or what is the need to force Shedeur, especially if you're a fan of Shedeur? Why force him? Take your time. And that's how I felt. Like I've been, ever since he got drafted to the Browns, and I know the Browns aren't the situation, but ever since he's got drafted to the Browns, I've been the one to say, like, hey, if you're here and you're in this loaded quarterback room, you're just gonna make the team. He don't need the money. We've talked about this. He don't need NFL contracts. He got the NIL. On top of that, I think he was born with a few dollars to his name. I think he's going to be okay. So, hey, I don't got to get a bunch of money. I'm going to chill my little rookie contract. I might get traded. I'm going to make something happen and hopefully end up in a better situation altogether. So, again, I am doing this live. I don't always record my videos live, but I want to respond to some things. Gore is being hilarious. Shout out to you. Shout out to my guys for first time being live, Neville. Mark Smith said for the first video, he means collusion, not for the, I can't say that word on YouTube, but not for the R word aspect, but it only requires 4 to 6 owners to collude, not all 32, which is a really good point. It does not take everyone in the league to hate. So even though, not everyone hates Shedeur, if 3 of the more needier teams don't like it, and Pittsburgh, now we know that Aaron Rodgers was a thing. Like, there are so many other things that fell into place, and then add that on top of if just 3 people are just not rocking with you to Mark Smith. I think that's a good point, though. I do think That's a good point. All things aside, there's also, he says, coming in late to the stream, but I think SAS made the Kaepernick comment because of how they iced him out collectively. And then, hey, they agree there. And I agree that there is some truth to that, right? There definitely is some truth to that. So now that we heard him back then say it, let's see what he has to. Oh, please don't tell me you're broke again. Oh, okay. Here we go. Now, sorry, I'm having a problem with these download videos. Let's see what he thinks now.
Experienced veteran, you got him there as a security blanket. You should have had him there last.
Sorry, it's gonna stop real quick. Yeah, my fault. Go ahead. Oh no, it broke again. I'm sorry. When you watch the video, this will be edited out. Don't worry. Or maybe it might not be. We'll see. We'll see.
Got him there as a security blanket. You should have had him there last year, okay? But when I look at Shedeur Sanders, I mean, when you consider what he did, his career completion percentage is the best in the FBS. More than 71% for his career. He completed 74% of his passes last year, despite being sacked about 42 times. Okay, 90 plus times.
Hit
over
my
the 2
ride
years
at beat, boy.
The brother can play.
I have to talk over these
you
beats. I'm
drafted
sorry.
in the fifth round, 140
chop down
overall.
my
We all know
stream,
how bogus that
dog.
was. We know that there's more to it than just his football skill. But him being there, you want to test a lot of things about Shedeur Sanders. And most of it, of course, his skill set is one thing because you want to make sure he can play on this level. But his temperament, his willingness to handle, not ability, because we know he has the ability, but his willingness to handle adversity.
Willingness to handle adversity. That's where I'm going to argue with you, Stephen A. Smith. And I think that's my biggest issue with Stephen A. Smith. Because, I might title this video, Shedeur proves all of Stephen A. Smith's lies, XYZ. And I think the biggest lie that Stephen A. Smith is telling, and I think the point of some of these videos are why I keep telling you, like, yo, I'm not surprised by this. And let's not act surprised, because the more we act surprised, the more that if my chat is right, my live chat is right, if it is just those 3 to 4 owners that decided to ice Shedeur Sanders out, well, they get what they want at that point for us to be like, oh, well, now he's humbled. Oh, well, that's all they wanted. Again, this is about control. This is about control. And if you ask me, I think it was about getting y'all to watch all 3 days of the draft. That, hey, you know what I'm saying? Maybe my tinfoil hat is on too tight, but that's how I felt about it. That's how I feel about the situation, right? It seems like a situation where, Shedeur is going to be cool. So let's go ahead and take it to the 3rd day. Let's make it happen. Let's make it make sense. But I do think Stephen A. is wrong when you talk about battling adversity. Again, multiple offensive coordinators, multiple places he's gone through. I know a lot of people use Deion Sanders being his coach and him being his dad as like a pro. And some people do it as a negative in the media aspect. But I don't understand how people don't look at that as adversity when trying to be on a team. Like how that changes the dynamics of how you have to be a leader. The way that, again, I'm not sure how many of y'all have ever been coached, like had a coach's son. Typically, anytime I've had that experience, like they've been they get coached a little harder. Like that's the special treatment, is they get coached harder, and you know what I'm saying, they try to prove a point, you know what I'm saying, almost like, hey, you're my son, that whole thing. So I don't really think he gets any preferential treatment. I think, well, that'd be wrong to say. I think at some point he is going to get, in some ways, shapes and aspects, but not in the way that I think a lot of people fear. And I do think there is some negative drawbacks to any of the positives that is, because it's got to be comfortable having your dad be a head coach at the end of the day. All those drawbacks do come with, hey, how do I fit in with the team? How do I prove to people I can handle adversity when apparently I've been in this cushy environment? People don't even think, you know what I'm saying? Mary Kay got on here and say he's only had, the same Pat Shurmur offensive coordinator for all 4 years at Jackson State. She had Pat Shurmur. Come on, guys. Like, we can be honest. We can be honest, man. So those are the things, or the lies rather, that I think Stephen A. Smith is getting off, especially because now that, you pull out and you see things like this, right? Former NFL scout with very, very high rates. Former NFL scout, this is analyst Cotton McKnight. He says he has the best balls that I've seen in 2 decades. Hold up. Yeah, I apologize. This is wrong, but it's hilarious. But hey, this is why we can't fall for fake news. That's why we do it live, son. But I'm going to use this as a jumping point. I don't care, because it's hilarious. Pause, first off. Second, I want to atone for the things that I said when it comes to Shedeur Sanders' throwing ability. I know I came out and kind of spoke to, the fact that, hey, people would question his inconsistent velocity. Every single time I say that, y'all try to jump on me, all right? But a lot of y'all in the comments consistently said, hey, look, Shedeur Sanders has come out and said he throws the right ball with the right velocity. And Brett Favre, not Brett Favre, oh my God, not the Welfare Steeler. Not Brett Favre. Kurt Warner came out and said that Shedeur Sanders actually throws a really good catchable ball. And that's what y'all said. Look, he does what he needs to do to get the ball in places. And I feel like in the NFL, he's just heightened that, right? I think he's shown that he can get velocity up. He's shown that he can fit in those tight windows and he can do things at a very high level. And I think that's impressive to at least see. Before we end this particular video, again, we got more comments. If you're watching live, we got more to go. We are going to listen to Dan Orlovsky talk about Shedeur Sanders really quick. But again, I'm doing this live, so I got to talk to my comments, see what they feel, the input. And Isaiah Lawrence has to say, I hate that everyone is putting humble in their statements. Nobody cares about what is right. I definitely think they did so. I'm reading straight through like that. But yeah, that is something that I've kind of been battling with, the whole, hey, he's been humbled thing. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but hey, it is what it is. And I think the biggest thing is to try to pretend like there's a surprise, right? Oh, he is so humble. Well, even if you do think he's humble, I know humbled, he's not humbled. You think he's humble. Because if you go watch the videos, to your point, Isaiah, you'll see a humble gentleman who's always been this way. All things J. Cole, is that right? All things J. Cole or J. Cole? Sorry about it. It's hard to read because they're small. I definitely think they did it so people would watch the draft as well. I think that's funny. The black dude says it's a troll. It is a troll. He did a good job controlling his velocity. He played with a broke back. Pause on the balls. Yes, the first one. Lol. Okay, cool. Nice. But hey, I appreciate y'all comment. Appreciate y'all rocking with me in the live. Again, I don't do many lives. If y'all want me to do more lives, I can. But anytime I record while I do a live, gotta talk to the people that are here live. Make sure you do it. So if you do ever want to check us out, go pop out. So let's hear to Dan Orlovsky. Wait, how long is this? It's only 40 seconds, and then we're gonna get up out of this video. Dan Orlovsky, notorious for running outside the back of the end zone, one of the funniest safeties in NFL history. What does he have to say about the new developments of Shedeur Sanders and mini?
Say this. If this offense is going under Kevin Stefanski, at least rumors to what it was a couple years ago, he's perfect for it. Because he's perfect for the under center, play action, control the line of scrimmage, see the defense, get from 1 to 2 to 3 quickly, or 1 to 2 to 3, he's got to do it more quickly. But he's custom made for that. But the way that he thinks and the way that he can see something on the board, take it to a walkthrough, and then bring it to a practice, that's how you win. He has to force that organization to play him because he's so impressive. And it will start this week, and then it will start for them to say, let's give him reps versus our #1 defense in training camp and see how he does.
Yes, I'm going to keep the troll picture up here. But yeah, that's been a big point that I've kind of talked about. And it's interesting because I made the Dillon Gabriel video recently, and I kind of talked about like, hey, a lot of things that came out with Dillon Gabriel were that, hey, he's the perfect fit. He's a guy that puts the ball in good places, although he's not the biggest, right? The fact that he makes decent decisions, he can throw in anticipation, great velocity, he can attack the middle of the field. That's a lot of the things that you can characterize. That's not a real word, by the way. Characterize, that's not a real word. Those same characteristics can be attributed to Shedeur Sanders in the way that he plays his game as well, right? There's a lot of good decision making. There's a lot of anticipatory throwing that not only we see at the collegiate level, but we continue to see when we look at just the Browns mini camp, you know, whether it's OTAs and situations like that. But I think that's dope to see. But just to close it out with the best balls in 2 decades, I do want to talk about that. There's so many trolls as I close this video out about this, but I think it's funny because it's like y'all are trolling in a positive way. So I think that's just y'all are gonna accidentally make Shedeur Sanders somehow a bigger star. So that's the end of it. Continue the trolls, continue the balls. Pause. If you're live, stay here. We're not going nowhere. But if you're watching this video on my YouTube channel, please enjoy the rest of your day. Be amazing, be phenomenal. Like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you don't like it. Please subscribe if you want to watch college football content, because this is supposed to be a college football channel, but y'all got me talking about NFL. Now I'm joking with you. It's a football of all shapes and sizes channel. If you want to see that, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell icon not to miss anything. And yeah, man, continue to be great. We'll see you next time. Peace.